right, welcome back, y'all. We are talking about the importance of sleep, and today we're still talking about the exciting stuff. And let's talk a little bit about how to use technology to our advantage. So we already know the importance of mimicking the day during the day. And one thing that we can do if we don't have the ability to get outside as often as we like, and if we're stuck inside of an office situation where we have less than optimal lighting that's not bright enough to set our circadian rhythms in a positive direction, we do have an option to use a light therapy device. And I've seen really good results with this with myself and with private clients. And basically you buy one of these devices that has a really strong brightness lux, and you have that sitting towards your face for about 15 to 30 minutes every morning. And sometimes this is even beneficial if you do have the ability to get outside. So we have a couple of different brands that we recommend that have the brightest intensity that we could find and had really good reviews. And something also to consider is the use of sunglasses or not using sunglasses. So if my goal throughout part of the day is to be outside and to get this brightness into my retinas, then having sunglasses on all the time is going to keep me from doing that. And sunglasses are all made with different filtering frequencies, and but just to be safe and careful, we want to make sure that we have some time with our eyes completely exposed to the brightness of the outdoors. And so if you wear sunglasses on a regular basis, making sure that you have those off during some of the brighter hours of the day, and then once you get that 30 minutes cumulative brightness, then you can actually put them on. What I typically do is I do not use sunglasses for the first part of the day, and then usually later in the afternoon, maybe around 3 o'clock, and later I'll start to use sunglasses to kind of wind things down a little bit. All right, now mimicking the night during the night. Remember, we talked about the impact of having the brightness of television screens and computer screens and cell phones and all these different electronic devices. That brightness is more than that one lux that we would experience from a full moonlit night. And so that can delay our melatonin secretion by 2 to 3 hours. And so something that we can do inside our homes is install dimmer switches. And dimmer switches are going to allow us to reduce the brightness of the overhead light. And then also something that works really well, and I recommend it to all my clients and everyone that we work with, is wearing some blue light blocking glasses and putting these things on maybe about an hour and a half to 2 hours before your projected bedtime. And these blue light blocking glasses are going to filter out the white light or the blue light frequency that's going to be damaging to our sleep patterns. And so we'd want to put these on hour and a half, 2 hours before bedtime, and it's going to filter out the white light or the blue light from overhead lights in our home. And then also if we happen to be on our televisions or on our computers or on our smartphones or any other electronic device that's emitting that blue bright light frequency, it's going to filter out that frequency so that it doesn't impact our sleep patterns in a negative way. And something else that we see to be really beneficial is this program called Flux. Flux you can install on your computer, and it filters out, again, the white light or the blue light frequencies, and it does that based on your geographical location and the setting of the sun, but you can also alter that time if you go to bed at a different time. There is a program for Flux on some smartphones. I haven't installed that personally. I don't think the Night Shift app on iPhones is enough to mitigate the damage of looking directly at your smartphone. So definitely wearing blue light blocking glasses if you're going to be, doing anything on one of these brightness LED type screen sources, and then also having those on is going to filter out all the white light and bright light everywhere else. And then something else that we want to consider, remember, we want to make our rooms completely dark and very cool. And so setting your thermostat to 65 degrees, give or take a few degrees, is going to help induce a really good night's sleep. Because remember, the sun is a signal of energy and light and warmth, and that signal of warmth tells our bodies that we need to be active. And then when the sun goes down, that lack of light and lack of energy and lack of warmth is actually an indication for our bodies to start to wind down and shut down and go into a sleep mode. And so something we can do to mimic that is make sure that our bedrooms are nice and cool. So usually in my bedroom, I have it at least 65 degrees. I actually close the vents to other rooms in my house or apartment so that bedroom is getting all that cool air. I know some friends that have actually installed like a window air conditioning unit to make the room really cool. And then also we want to maybe install some blackout shades, because if you have some street light creeping in through some blinds, even if it's on the edges or corners of your window, sometimes we may have some light coming in from the hallway. We want to try to block out as much light as possible, because remember, we have photoreceptors all over the body. And so blackout shades are great. There's some that are like permanently installed. I actually have mine taped to my window so that I can't get any light creeping in, but there are some that look really nice and elegant that you can actually open up during the day. So blackout curtains and shades for me was a game changer, like huge improvement, because I did have a little bit of street light creeping in. And then also a noisemaker and having some wind going on would be great. I love fans. I love overhead fans. I love fans that make some noise and keep the wind moving. I actually have something that looks like a Lowe's or Home Depot kind of air circulation or room circulation fan, because it makes a lot of noise and I have a lot of wind going on in my room. So I absolutely love that. And then if we need some light to see at night, if we get up to use the bathroom and we need some night lights, or if your kids have some night lights, then if you use some red or amber colored night lights, you're not going to be getting that bright light, blue light, white light frequency impacting your sleep patterns. And so those would be perfectly fine to have so that you can see if you have to get up and use the bathroom. And then some people benefit from having a noisemaker. So depending on where you sleep, where you live and where you sleep, you may have a lot of activity going on in your neighborhood. You may be in a city situation, and so there's a lot of outdoor noise, traffic, maybe noisy neighbors. So to drown that out, a fan is a great option, but then also having one of these traditional noisemakers that has some ambient sound in the background. All right, so there's a bunch of different options for those, and we're sharing a few of our most recommended and used ones. One of these noisemakers, the Marpac Dom Classic, like my mom and my sister have had these for as long as I can remember. Even when I was a kid, I had it. So also understanding the impacts of EMFs or electromagnetic frequencies and radiation as these electronic devices are communicating with each other, with different other devices, and then also with cell phone towers or wireless routers, that communication signal is going through our bodies. And so that disrupts our own cellular communication, which disrupts system communication, organ communication, and has a negative impact on sleep patterns big time. And so one thing that we want to do at a minimum is turn our phone into airplane mode, which will cut off all the communication signals from the phone. And so to do that, most people are pretty familiar with it. If you have a situation where you feel like you have to have your phone available to receive calls because you have some children out or you have an emergency pending or something with work, then what we recommend is turning your data off. So you can go into your cell phone settings and turn off your data. And that data means you won't be able to use services like Facebook and Instagram that are kind of image intensive or video intensive, but you can still make and receive phone calls through the cellular network. All right, so, and then something to be very aware of, especially inside the iPhone, is that having your wireless and Bluetooth disconnected does not mean they're completely turned off. So sometimes what you'll notice is if you swipe down and you turn off the wireless and the Bluetooth, they'll still be a light gray, and that means that they're still active and on. They're just not connected to any devices or not able to connect to other devices. What you want to do is actually go into your settings and turn those off so that there's no communication signals whatsoever, so that it looks like what's up on the screen right now. And again, turning off your data is going to make it look like what's up on the screen right now. All right. So, and then just understanding, like with this whole communication things, Wi-Fi routers like have very, very strong signals. We highly recommend you don't have those in the bedroom. And when you go to bed at night, you want to turn those off. Now, there's a lot of people that have wireless routers everywhere, and you'll notice on your wireless networks, there's a bunch of different networks and routers that show up. But we do want to control what we can control, and that is the things that are in our immediate environment. All right, so turning off your router, making sure it's out of the bedroom, making sure that your bedroom situation, especially your bed situation, is electronic free as possible, because all those signals actually have an impact on our cellular communication. And then something I highly recommend is putting your cell phone to bed before you go to bed. And that means not having your cell phone within arm's distance, because the temptation for a lot of people is to pick up their cell phone and look at it to see how much time they have left to sleep. What that does is it actually gives you a unconscious, non-conscious background counter reminder. And so for a lot of people, that means you're not going to have as good a quality sleep as you could. Also, the temptation might be, if you have access to your cell phone, if you wake up in the middle of the night, maybe to go into Instagram or another social media outlet, or maybe your email, and start to scroll through things, which is going to stimulate you. So having the phone away from you, like so far that you'd have to get up out of bed to go get it, actually tells your body at an unconscious, non-conscious level that it's not available. And it's very liberating. So it may feel uncomfortable for the first few nights, but we highly recommend that when you come in to go to bed, or at least by the time you decide to actually go to sleep and turn off your lights and stuff, take your phone, put it somewhere where you can't access it very easy. All right, it's gonna have a huge beneficial impact on your sleep patterns. All right. And then measuring sleep. You know, some of the best ways I think to measure sleep are going to be how consistent are you with your bedtime, rise time, getting sun, and committing to the different things that we just talked about. But then also, you know, just paying attention to your subjective markers, like how do you look, feel, and perform. And I love measuring my pulse. I usually take my pulse first thing in the morning manually with my 2 fingers, and then just before going to bed. Usually first thing in the morning, it's at its lowest that it ever is, and that's a really good indication of some good solid sleep. If you're going to use some devices, I know that a lot of smart devices, Apple Watches, Fitbits, and things have some kind of a sleep tracker function. But the most optimal ones that we've seen that have been the most accurate and have the best ratings are going to be things like the Oura Ring, which I absolutely love. It is designed specifically to measure, monitor, and improve sleep. And then also something that we've seen really, really good reviews with, and I've worn it for a little bit, is the Whoop strap. All right, so anything that's going to measure your pulse rate is going to be great. We just want to be careful about the Bluetooth and wireless signaling that comes from those devices. All right, so again, all this information and resources are located at our community website at community.superhumantransformation.com, including links to these different products and items that we talked about today, and probably some discounts to some different things. All right, so hope to see you there, and we will see you guys in the next video.